Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to our webinar for this morning on exploring the IESBA Code, our last and final installment in the series. And you'll see at the bottom of the slide, it says there, this sixth and final webinar in the series focuses on the role and mindset. So it's role and mindset expected of accountants. And we're also going to refer to the building blocks installment. All right. Whoops. Okay, I'm not going to be able to draw a straight line today. Not going to be able to do that. Okay, so the building blocks installment we will also refer to at the end. Right, let's just get the housekeeping out of the way before we start. So from me, Letty Jansen van Vuren, I will be your presenter for the next 90 minutes to 2 hours. There's the little bit of a marketing blurb about me, where I have been, what experience I've got, and this is what I do for a living now. I do professional training and webinar hosting. I do the development. I also have some associates that help me with development sometimes. So I'm mainly responsible for the monthly compliance and legislation updates, the MCLU, right, at SAAA. And that obviously that gets used by a lot of the professional bodies as well. All right. But that's what I do. And then when I'm not busy doing webinars and development, I'm busy doing consulting in terms of whatever anybody needs, any accounting practice, auditing practice, very seldomly on tax. I must admit I'm not the world's biggest tax expert. Never wanted to do my HDIP tax or masters in tax or anything like that. Yeah, but I mean, that's a little bit about me. Right. But let's go and have a look. That's the housekeeping all behind us. Let's go and have a look at what's on the agenda for today. If we start off with the quotes, okay, Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's so true. You'll see even the font that I used here has a bit of a mirror effect, and it just looks different. Okay. If you change the way you look at things, then the things will literally change for you. And the reason why I've got this here is because we've got this whole role of accountants that is expected from accountants. And these are some of the names that I found that people call us, right? Accountant nicknames. Accountaholic, provisions peddler, double entry deviant, reserved reconciler, dealer in debits and credits, bean counter, ledger lover, bean keeper, counting consultant, number cruncher, and penny processor. These are just a few. All right. Just a few of the ones. I'm sure we've all heard all the numerous nicknames that we've been called before. All right. So let's go and have a look at our table of contents. We're going to start off with a recap, just so that we can see where did we end off last time. Now, I realize it's been a long time. It's been like 4 months since we've had our last webinar on this topic, because we were expecting the building blocks installment. We didn't even know what installment number 12 was. This is installment number 12, and we didn't know what it was. And we were expecting it to be released on the 30th of November, because when they started this whole series, they said it's a 12-month publication, and they started with it in November 2019. So normally within 12 months, they're done. For some reason now, November came and went. December obviously was a bit of a write-off as well, because people were all on holiday and everything was on holiday shutdown. And then came January, and it's a non-productive month for most of us. And February, tax deadlines and all sorts of financial deadlines. And March, finally in March, they published this. And that's why we are able today to do finally the final installment of our webinar series. All right. So we're going to start off with a recap, and then we're going to move on to the role and mindset expected of accountants, a focus on bias. Very, very important principle that comes through in today's webinar is this whole idea of bias, and how we must be careful that our role and our mindset that we've got and what people expect of us does not affect us in any way, shape, or form in terms of our objectivity. So we cannot allow it to influence us or be biased as a result of that. So we're going to briefly look at some background and introduction as to what is this role and mindset, why the revisions have taken place, what the key changes are, and then the effective date. And then very important in there, I mean, what are the key changes? That's the majority of where today should be spent. Okay. The key changes for today, that's the most important. And then the building blocks installment, we'll be looking at the structure of the code and how everything is interconnected. The sections of the code, what you need to look at when you're a PAIB, what you need to look at when you're a PAP. All right, PA for purposes of today. Please know that when I say PA, I don't mean personal assistant. It stands for professional accountant. All right. So as we all know, the IESBA Code is applicable to all professional accountants. Doesn't matter if you're in public practice or not. All right, and then I'm going to end off with a little bit of a in summary, just a short little summary just to recap on those two. It's probably the shortest summary you'll find of the two topics, but you'll see as well that we've got a lot of slides to work through today. I did try and give you as much summary information because this is a very, very important topic, this whole role and mindset issue. All right. So I have given you a little bit more detail on the slides. So even if I don't go through them now in detail, you will have it for reference purposes. Right, looking at the recap, I've said there module 1 in your webinar material contains the basic summary, and I did say there again, right? So yes, it is there again because I've included it on every single one of those. So just a little bit of an introduction as to the IESBA Code series, because remember it's available online, and what the structure of the code is all about, and then looking at the South African amendments. Right. Where did we stop with the webinars in this series? Well, we ended in December. We ended with pressure to breach the fundamental principles. Today, we're going to be focusing, like we said, on role and mindset expected of accountants, with a focus on bias, as well as the building blocks installment. Let's just have a bit of an overview, a bird's eye view. I like these big pictures, as I call them, right? Or overview of the 6 webinars in the series. If you did miss any of these, those were the webinar numbers. Those were the IFAC installments that were covered. So we covered installment 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Every webinar we did 2 installments. Those were the webinar dates that had happened, and those were the topics as it happened. All right. Very important here, if you remember correctly, the 5 fundamental principles, very important, together with a conceptual framework in terms of your threats. All right. Identifying, evaluating, and addressing threats. Then we looked at independence, conflicts of interest, inducements or gifts. Right. Responding to NOCLAR for PAIBs, that's professional accountants in business, and for PAPs as well in public practice. Then the pressure to breach the fundamental principles, and then today's focus there. Right. So if you've missed any of these, I'm sure you can still go and access the recordings together with the source documents and the slide summaries. You'll be able to access all of those. All right. But just so that we can sort of touch base with where we stopped last time, we looked at when we are dealing with pressures, you need to have discussions. When there's pressure on you to breach your fundamental principles, you need to identify those threats. Okay. You've identified the threats. Now there's pressure. Where is it coming from? What actions are you taking? Do you need to disclose anything? You can consult with either other partners in your firm, or you can consult with colleagues, or you could even consult with your professional bodies. Right. And then very important, you need to document. What do we need to document? Well, obviously we need to document the facts, the communications, and the parties with whom those matters were discussed. So the discussions are very important, the courses of action that we taken, and how the matter was addressed. How was it resolved? How was it addressed all in all? All right. So that's where we ended off with last time.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.